What's up, everybody? Welcome to By His Grace. This is Brandon. I had a little something on my heart today, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Um, we are always in a rush for everything in this world. Rush here, rush there, rush for this, rush for that. And most of the time, rushing doesn't do a thing but hurt us. And I'm just as guilty as anybody. God has put some direction into my life with different signs, different things that have happened that have kind of shown me some sort of idea of the direction he wants me to go. And I'm anxious. I'm anxious for the next step. I'm anxious to find out what he wants me to do, for sure. Like when and where, like what's my next step? And it's got me fired up. But it's one of those things where it's come upon my heart in the last couple days, week maybe. I need to slow down. One word came to mind. Wait. Wait. Said it in the Bible plenty of times. Wait. It's not time yet. Don't push it. Don't rush. Wait. And I'm like, I get to the point where I'm like, is that a sign? Is that something? Is he telling me something here? Everything I've been told so far has been pretty obvious to me. If I'm having to question it, I'm having to guess. Probably not. God has a plan for me. God has a plan for you. God has a plan for each and every one of us. And if you follow him, if you go to him, if you give him your heart, you give him everything you are, he will tell you what his plan is for you, but you got to stay with him. He is not going to put you in a position where you take that step and it hurts you. He's not going to put you in a position where you go do something and it affects you badly. When you follow him and you do what he says when he says, it's going to line up perfectly. You will have troubles, you will have tribulations, but it's going to line up if you follow him. If you do what he says. That's why we have to wait. God's timing is right. Our timing is not. We are in a rush society, and that does not bode well. Bode well. Sorry, wrong word. That does not work with God. It's not my will, it's thy will be done. Listen to him. Do his timing. Follow him. You will be living, as they say, your best life. Because he has your best life already planned. The best life you can live is through him. And he's got it all planned out for you. You got to follow the map. You got to listen and do what he says. And it works. Just wait. Proverbs 16:9 says, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You can make an idea of what you want to do, but he that's going to give you the roadmap to get there. And his plan is better than your plan. And it leads to a lot better things. Look at Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child. He promised them a child. Abraham was old. And Abraham was getting older. About the time Abraham was 85 years old, Sarah was 75 years old. They said, okay, God must have messed up or something because we ain't having a kid. So why don't you go sleep with, my servant over here, Hagar, and have a kid with her? God said you're going to have a kid, so I give you permission. Go sleep with her. Go commit adultery. Go sin over here. That way, you can have a child. We can have a child through her. Ishmael comes around when Abraham's 86, Sarah's 76. That was not what God said. God told Sarah she was going to have a child. Abraham turned 100. Sarah was 90. What happened? Isaac. If they had just waited. Meanwhile, they get a little older. Ishmael starts making fun of Isaac, causing problems. Sarah finally has enough and tells Abraham, I demand you to make Hagar and Ishmael leave. So Abraham, who was a family man, had to make his son leave. Told his son to go. Broke his heart. They didn't listen to God. Now, of course, God took care of Hagar and Ishmael. They were okay. But Abraham lost a son because he didn't listen. Trust God's timing. Joseph. And Jacob loved that boy. Jacob loved that boy so much. God had his covenant with Jacob, so God loved Joseph too. Joseph started having these dreams about his family bowing to him. He told his brother. Now the brothers already had an issue with Joseph because Jacob loved Joseph the most. Got him that beautiful coat of many colors. And Joseph had these dreams about his family bowing to him. Well, the brothers, they finally had enough. Dad loved Joseph more than any of them. And, God's covenant to Jacob transferred over to Joseph, just like it transferred to us today. The covenant still lives if we follow him. But Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. Ripped up his coat, poured goat's blood on it, gave it to Dad, said that an animal ate him. Dad was just inconsolable, distraught. Jacob just couldn't handle it. Joseph ended up being sold to one of the Pharaoh's officials, Potiphar, I'm not sure which one it is. But Potiphar actually loved Joseph's work. Joseph worked hard, gave it everything he had every day, just like we're supposed to. Still loved God. Follow the law. Potiphar's wife lusted after Joseph. Tried to get Joseph to sleep with her. He wouldn't do it. refused to do it. So she lied and said that Joseph that he raped her. So what do you do if you're Potiphar? Your wife just said that this guy raped you. So you got to do something. So they put him in prison. Of course, God still loved him. So God looked out for him. He ended up becoming, in the prison, a leader. Like he was a leader of prisoners in the prison. Ended up becoming somebody who interpreted the dreams of the king. Told the king about a 7-year famine that was coming. So he goes from prisoner to prime minister overnight. He's out of the prison now. Not only is he out of the prison, he's a leader in Egypt. Said there's a 7 years of great, growth, and then a 7-year famine. So Egypt stocks up. And then the famine hits. People come from all over the surrounding areas who didn't know about the famine, and they come to Egypt for food, including his brothers. And when they came to him, you guessed it, they bowed to him. Didn't realize who he was, but they bowed to him, begging him for food, and he gave them food. And then he let him know who he was, and then he hugged him and forgave him and took care of him. From sold into slavery to prisoner to prime minister. You're a slave and you're a prisoner. You could get really frustrated with God during that time, right? Trust God's timing. David was told as a child he would be king. He was anointed as a child. Took out Goliath when none of Saul's soldiers would do it. None of Saul's soldiers would even attempt to fight him. This boy takes out Goliath because he knows God is with him. Saul became very jealous of David and his successes on the battlefield. And all the people, they loved David. They started loving David more than Saul. Saul, who was anointed, started losing a little bit of God. And God eventually said, I don't want him to be my king anymore. And Saul attempted multiple times to kill David because he was so jealous. And David had multiple times easily that he could have killed Saul and become king, but he didn't. Because he knew if he had, he would have been doing wrong in the eyes of God. And he waited till Saul died. Not by his hand, to become king. And even though David sinned, always trusted God. And as you can read in the Psalms, a lot of them are written by David, begged for forgiveness. Never, he always believed. And even God said, David was a man after his own heart. David waited all those years to become king. Even though he could have pushed it, but he didn't. Trust God's timing. Job. Oh my goodness, Job. I think Job should be the first book of the Bible. Job is such an important story. Such an important life. Job is our life. Job had so much going for him. He was one of the richest, if not the richest men on earth. loved God. God-fearing man. Big time. Big time. God told the devil, look at Job. Loves me with everything. And the devil started pushing God's buttons. Yeah, of course he does. You give him everything. So God gives the devil the permission to take all of his belongings and eventually put him through absolute misery. Kids die. All of his belongings destroyed, including his livestock, which was your wealth back then, being stolen and killed. Boils on his skin, head to toe. Worms. Just dirt on his skin. He's ready to die. He's ready to die. His wife looks at him and says, curse God and die. Because he's in so much pain. He's ready to go. But in the end, after all the pain, all the struggle, all the horrible things Job had to go through, never lost his faith in God. Always believed. And after he went through everything he went through, ended up with twice as much as far as livestock, twice as much as far as kids, grandkids, everything. Twice as much as he had before. Because he didn't lose his faith. You and me, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle here. Maybe you're struggling now. Maybe you're struggling right now. But if you go through this, and you keep your faith, don't let it fade, you are going to end up with twice as much more as you have ever had up there. In heaven, you will end up with more than you could ever imagine because you didn't lose your faith. And you trusted God's timing. God's timing is perfect, y'all. Perfect. No question. Just remember that word in your head. Wait. When the time comes, he will tell you. But don't think that he's going to talk to you and do all this if you don't go to him first. You have to go to him first. You have to show him that you are here for him. You have to love him and believe in him with all your heart and soul and trust him. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Let him lead you. That is a motto for life. Trust in him. His timing is perfect. It's better than my timing, better than your timing. He knows what he's doing. You just have to believe in it. You have to say, God, I know you have a plan for me. And I'm asking you to light my path and show me the way you want me to go. Take the time to get on your knees, beg for forgiveness. Tell God you know you're a sinner. And you know you need Jesus Christ in your life. And you know you need him to show you the path. Because you can't get there without him. And then wait. Don't lose your faith. Don't lose your passion. Wait and listen. You'll get there. Then you'll be living your best life. That's all I got. Just wanted to share that with you guys. It was on my heart. And so remember, God's timing is perfect. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. It's you. It's me. It's everybody who loves him. Don't forget that. Love you guys. Until next time, God bless.